The world is never going to be the same again.
I'm worried about the world.
The mass chaos and crises that there was in the world, it's going to be just like that now.
This is not an accident.
How long is it going to last? Longer than even for those of you that have some cash in the bank, way past your cash reserves.
Out of 100 people, 4 will get the message.
This thing isn't going to be over in a few weeks. This thing isn't going to be over in a few months.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. And guys, the title of today's video is not meant to alarm you, but simply is meant to signal to all of you that we're going to experience the most violent and the most catastrophic financial collapse we have ever seen. We've all known that for the past 2.5 years, this financial system has been on life support. September 2019, the repo liquidity injections was the biggest signal that let all of us know that the banking system failed. Now, we're in 2022, and in my opinion, the biggest financial crash indicator has been released to all of us. JP Morgan gave us an opinion. March 14th, a couple days ago, JP Morgan stated Chinese tech stocks are uninvestable, downgrades all Chinese internet stocks. Then 2 days later, Chinese tech stocks surged by most on record. Then, same day, JP Morgan stated there is no elevated chance for a recession in 2022, given the strength of the economy. What happens next will be that a recession happens. Ladies and gentlemen, remember in 2017, when the Bitcoin bull run was happening, Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, was saying, "Don't buy Bitcoin. I will fire employees if you buy Bitcoin." While at the same time, JP Morgan was buying it up just to sell at the peak. You see, we 99% of the time here on this channel do the opposite of what the masses do, because we pay attention to what the classes do, and we try to interpret to the best of our ability and read between the lines, the lies from the truth. A lot of these central banks and big banks lie often to manipulate markets, and that's something we just have to deal with. But here, something very interesting that all of you need to know is an additional recession indicator. This is going to be the Bitcoin price relative to interest rates. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what you guys see here in the red is the price of Bitcoin. And then the blue line that kind of looks like a staircase, that is interest rates. We see here in 2020, right here in the middle, they drastically dropped rates to fight off this health crisis. We all remember when that happened. And exactly when that happened, that is when we saw the monumental growth in Bitcoin's price. Not just that, we saw a crash in the stock market as well, but also saw monumental growth. But what I want to do here, I want to go back to 2016. We had the same level interest rates, and we saw interest rates gradually rise, gradually rise, gradually rise, quote, combating inflation. But then it reached a certain point after it rose a couple times where Bitcoin collapsed in price. See, guys, that's important to note. Another thing that's important to note is that we gradually saw a recovery as interest rates were going down again. Guys, we saw interest rates rise, but in my opinion, not fast enough to stop the growth of this market for the immediate future. It's going to halt the growth as well as the big recession and the big cataclysmic financial crash that's going to come. But for the meantime, we still have a little bit of runway left, in my opinion. Specifically, runway for altcoins to appreciate in value and for us to take profits from those altcoins. Interest rates will rise gradually at the moment, but there's going to be another moment, whether it's another crisis or another excuse for the central banks to say, hey, we have to drop interest rates again. It's probably going to be on the guise of a financial crash, whether it's because of the invasion, because of the health crisis returning, because of cyber attacks. There's going to be an excuse that's going to send interest rates down again and is going to continue to allow inflation to progress. And guys, an interesting statistic I found yesterday is this chart of different nations' inflation rates. Here, from Charlie Bolello, we see that the United States is one of the countries with the highest inflation on the planet right now. At the same time, we see that China only has 0.9% inflation. The US, being the world reserve currency, is the only reason the United States has not completely imploded yet. And that's important to note. What's also important to note is the rumors that Saudi Arabia is going to be making deals in the yuan. Guys, in my opinion, the petro yuan, it has arrived. The petrodollar has died. And this is an initial signal of the demise of the United States. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, my friends. There's not much saving us at this moment in time. And when that happens, not if but when, we will all really feel it. Next up, another country that's been experiencing a collapse of their currency has been Russia for obvious reasons. Gold Telegraph posted Switzerland's bank holds up to $213 billion of Russian wealth. Recently, the Swiss government proposed that public liquidity should be the backstop for big banks if one of the big banks fails. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know what that means? Let me put it to you like this. There is a very real threat that people's bank accounts may have a percentage of your deposits sliced off. Maybe it's 5 to 10%, who knows? But that is a big reason why, after I take profits from this crypto bull run, I'm going to put those profits right into USDC stored on my ledger, as well as Pax Gold. I'm splitting those profits 50-50. I want gold exposure, but I also want a stable coin as well. Both of them will be stored offline on my ledger, so exchanges can't hack me, can't steal from me, can't freeze my accounts, and so bank accounts can't freeze my accounts, and also cannot shave a percentage of my money from me. That's important to note, my friends. It is a very likely scenario, and one you cannot say I didn't warn you about. Now, with that critical warning out of the way, something I wanted to show all of you was the Dow Jones back in 2008, right before the big financial collapse was blatantly obvious to the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do, I'm going to point you to the moments right before the massive peak of the 2008 financial crash. I believe this is what we have left to experience here in 2022. And then what's going to follow next is this cataclysmic crash right here. Ladies and gentlemen, both of them are an opportunity. I do not think it is worth it to be in the stock market at this specific moment in time. I believe we're going to experience a quick blow off the top, while at the same time, that will allow the crypto space to continue to run. Here, guys, we see the crypto space is rising in value. The crypto space is showing some strength. It's showing resilience. And as I stated, I believe this altcoin season is on the horizon. Ladies and gentlemen, something very interesting that happened yesterday was a random coin made it into the top 100, and you all probably heard quite a bit of news about it. You guessed it. I'm going right to that ape coin. Here, ape coin made its way into the 34th spot on CoinMarketCap. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason this is important is because this may be an initial indicator for an altcoin season. We randomly see random altcoins make it into the top 100, up hundreds of percent in a day. That's something that is regular, commonplace in an altcoin season. Do you think in the comments below this is an initial indicator or just one random coin? I would love to see your thoughts on it. And no, me pointing this out to you is not an endorsement to buy it. I do not recommend things at all-time highs, and you should not get into this coin at the moment. Now, back to traditional markets. We see here that the 3-month LIBOR appears to be indicating strain on the banking system. This is important, my friends, because all of these are initial indicators that let us know what's going to happen in a couple weeks into a couple months. The 70% stock market collapse, in my opinion, is inbound. It is closer than it's ever been before. But in my opinion, we still need a quick blow off the top moment. We know these indicators signal the demise. And yes, this is the riskiest financial time to be in any type of markets, in my opinion. But as I've stated before on my channel, I'll say it again. Risky is the new safe in 2022. I told all of you, one of the biggest reasons I've become the person I am today is because I read a book called Risky is the New Safe by Randy Gage. Such a small book with such big font. I would not have expected that book would have changed my life the way it has now. But it's a quick read, and it most definitely has. Something else, in my opinion, guys, I recommend you all do is read the book The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio, or you watch this video. It is a 43-minute video titled Principles for Dealing with the Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. And ladies and gentlemen, I highly recommend, if you can't read that quickly, if you want to save some time, at the very least, watching this video will keep you up to speed. If you don't have that much time in your hands as well, and this is just a general skill I recommend, here, you can speed up the listening time by putting it on 2x speed, and that will make that video only last 21.5 minutes. This is something that I personally do when educating myself on YouTube, so I can save time. I hope that helps someone out there. I hope that helps anyone watching this content. I hope that helps someone out there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, back to XRP very quickly. Crypto Eddie posted this important piece of news that distinguishes truth from rumor. The clearinghouse has many partners, FIS and Volante, but I have not seen a Ripple partnership announcement. However, TCH is owned by Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Bank of America, 24 banks in total. Some of those banks are in fact Ripple partners. And the clearinghouse just announced joining with SWIFT to speed up and embrace cross-border payments. Ladies and gentlemen, this was posted back in October, and the reason this is important is not because it is directly partnered with Ripple, but because we see the stress and emphasis on cross-border payments. Guys, this does not mean that Ripple themselves, and XRP are directly correlated with this specific partnership. However, the point I want to make is that XRP is meant to help with cross-border payments. One of the main focus on the planets is improving the speed and the cost of cross-border payments, and Ripple got it right. They're attacking the best and most important niche right now in this moment in history when it comes to the infrastructure of the financial system. And at the very least, they're going to be a strict competitor when it comes to this space. And that alone should get you extremely excited, my friends. At the same time, we see a lot of the partners of the clearinghouse do have ties to Ripple. That does not mean or guarantees that Ripple is behind the scenes helping. But personally speaking, I don't think anything is a coincidence. Keep that in mind, guys. Now, something I do want to play you before I cap off this video for today is a clip of Elizabeth Warren. We know that Elizabeth Warren has been anti-crypto from the jump, and we know Gary Gensler has ties to Elizabeth Warren, his daughter having an internship with Elizabeth Warren. That is not a coincidence. Gary is taking a strict and regulation by enforcement approach to the crypto space. That is why that Ripple case is so important, because it can take power away from little old Gary at the SEC. But that's besides the point. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to play you this brief clip of Elizabeth Warren being misinformed and extremely biased on crypto. The reason I'm showing you this is because she's made up her mind already, and you can tell she has vested interest, probably in incumbents and banks, in trying to get the crypto space out of the way. She already made up her mind, as the person she was speaking with was debunking her preconceived notions, but she didn't want to hear it anyways. Please take a listen.
Mr. Levin, let's consider one of Putin's cronies who already has $1 billion or so in crypto that he wants to hide from the governments that are enforcing sanctions on oligarchs. Now, can this oligarch make it harder to trace his money if he hops from one blockchain to another, if he deposits those tokens into a couple of wallets that don't require him to provide identifying information, and if he uses a mixing service that launders his money with other people's money?
Thank you, Senator. So the scenario that you describe, where an oligarch has $1 billion to be able to launder, requires significant amounts of liquidity to be able to obfuscate that amount of money through the use of cryptocurrency. In fact, many times we've been able to identify...
I'm sorry, let me just remind you of what my question was again. What I'm asking is about the tools that are available. Now, he may have to break it up into multiple pieces of, who knows, $100 million at a crack. But the question I'm asking is, does hopping from one blockchain to another, does depositing tokens in a couple of wallets that don't require him to provide identifying information, and does using a mixing service all make it easier for him to hide his money?
So, Senator, the answer to that question is no, because the chain hopping that occurs, you need to actually provide the tokens, which in a transparent way that allows you to move across blockchains. We've actually got software that allows you to...
So you don't think chain hopping makes it any easier to hide your money? How about depositing tokens in wallets that don't require identifying information?
You can always split the money up into wallets that don't require...
And that would help hide the money. And how about using a mixing service?
That doesn't remove the record of where the money actually sits.
But the question I'm asking is, does it make it harder to track the money?
No, so it doesn't make it harder to track the money, because
using a mixing service, you're telling me, doesn't make it harder to launder money?
The daily liquidity value of mixing services globally is about $30 million.
So you might have to do this day by day?
And we have done extensive work in tracking large sums of money through mixers that have led to the arrests of people and the disruption of their activity.
I'm actually a little surprised by your answer, since you charge a lot of money to untangle and track assets through the system, and the system keeps developing more ways to obscure that money, and that's part of what you add.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we can all agree that the individual we saw there on the screen is not someone who's curious to know about what is in the truth. It's someone who has made up her mind already. He consistently was answering her question and saying no, crypto is actually easier to track. But again and again and again, she gave her dismissive comments and her arguments as to why she did not agree. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to me, that seems like somebody that is frankly just trying to stifle innovation. But the thing is, us in the crypto space, we can see through that. We see how it happens, why it's happening. And crypto investors, we do not forget. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all that being said, we know a massive crash is coming, and we expect to be able to take profits for altcoin season first though. However, in the days, weeks, and months to come, this is going to be the most important financial moments of our lives. This is when we need to work harder and educate ourselves harder than we ever have before. And I feel honored that you guys choose to watch my channel every single day. And that's a big reason why I created my mentorship program, which you can find in the description of my YouTube video down below. I offer both group and VIP consulting sessions, and the reason I've created this is because I wanted to give my blood, sweat, and tears to my clients. Ladies and gentlemen, you get lifetime access to the Discord community, where we have weekly Q&A sessions to keep everyone updated with the state of recent events in the markets. We discuss exit strategies, have numerous research resources, charting, as well as the Accidental Billionaire University, where we have interviews with different community members and different crypto companies. I'm also posting in the university a beginner's course to help everyone with tech support, getting ready for exchanges, storing cryptos on your wallets, basic things like that. And as I get deeper into the chart analysis for helping everyone execute on exit strategies during this bull run, you better believe that this will be a powerful resource that you'll have at your disposal. I'm a big believer in the saying your network becomes your net worth, and I personally activate my network to the best of my abilities to let all my clients be in a position where they can succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, you also get an hour to 2 hour long startup session with me on my mentorship program. And it's up to all of you if you decide to join. On top of that, if you don't think it's for you, after you've gotten my services, you could get a 110% refund. And the reason I do it that way is to ensure that you guys feel that there is no risk involved. I'm genuinely here for all of you, and I highly recommend you guys all try it out. Now guys, with that being said, this is the Bearable Bull here. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
I get 24 hours a day just like Bill Gates. I get 24 hours a day just like Beyonce and Jay-Z. You get 24 hours a day, ladies and gentlemen. What do you do with your 24 hours? You need to get more information in our coaching program. All we do is drop content nonstop. And people are like, wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that. See, you don't even know what you don't know. How did you let me come from behind and clip you? Do you guys know the studies show the better we look, the more money we make? Which means your website should pass the eyeball test. Your truck should pass the eyeball test. Your people should pass the eyeball test. You should pass the eyeball test. Everybody in this room has a promised land somewhere, but you can't be stuck on the city you like. You got to hear God and go to your promised land. Your promised land might be Utah. Your promised land might be Minnesota. Your promised land might be Wyoming. Hear me clearly. You better use your money to get information and access, and you better be flexible because a real shark is flexible. Can we stop fronting and get real about this thing? And if I can do it, you can do it. I knew nothing about life. I knew nothing about business, but I had the right mindset, and I learned it through sports. And y'all got to hear my story so you understand. I didn't even start on my college basketball team. I came off the bench. at the University of Minnesota. I came off the bench. But in my mind, you can bring me off the bench, but I'm an NBA ball player when you get through talking. When you get through, I'm an NBA ball player. And that's why I would walk around and say, you can't check me. You can't check me. You can't check me. If I was you, I would walk around every day and say, I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I declare it right now. I'm worth millions. I'm worth millions. I will receive my salary right now, but I won't accept it as my value. So whatever you receive right now, receive it, but don't you accept it as your value. Because there's more out here for you if you change your mindset.